Exercise 4A, question 5. Okay, so we have been asked initially to find the series expansion. So if we start there, we've got the square root of 1 plus 3x, step 1, pop into an index form. So that's to the power of half. And if we identify, there's our x, and there's our n. Okay, so into the formula we go. We want to go up to the x cubed term, and we want to simplify each term as usual. So 1 plus nx. So I've got a half and 3x. Remember that 3x always goes in a bracket, and then you shouldn't make any errors. So I've got n, which is a half. N minus 1, I'm going to do that in my head, is minus a half over 2, 3x, all squared. And that is the most important thing in binomial. In a bracket, all squared, or all cubed, etc., etc. So we've got a half. N minus 1, we already know is minus a half. A lot of repetition in this. And then we will take another one off, so that's minus 3 over 2 again. As I've said in previous videos, use a calculator if your fraction skills aren't that strong. The reason I'm doing it in my head is twofold. One, because it cuts out the amount I have to type in a calculator. And the more you type, the more risky it gets if you do a silly slip. And B, it keeps the room on my screen to write. So it's over 3 factorial, which is 6. And I've got 3x cubed. Okay, so simplify each term as requested. That's 1 plus 3 over 2x. I've got 1 minus, so it's going to be a minus, and I'm going to end up with 9 over 8x squared. And that's just found by typing a half times minus a half in your calculator, dividing it by 2, and then timesing it by 9. And the last term will turn out to be a plus. I've got the 2 minuses, so I've got 27 over 16. Again, chuck that in a calculator. The reason I was quite so fast, I'd love to say it's my mental arithmetic, but it's actually the fact I calculated the answer before I started the video. Okay, so that's part 1 done. Show that when x equals 1 over 100, the exact value is. Now, these ones are pretty typical in exams. This is going back to some non-calculator surd skills in general. So I'm going to put x equals 1 over 100 into the square root of 1 plus 3x, or plus the 1. Okay, now it's a show that, so you do not want to be jumping steps. So let's do this nice and steadily. So that will equal 1 plus 3 over 100. Now I am going to do 3 times 1 over 100 in one go. That is something you could be expected to do in your head. Now, add that together. 1 is the same as 100 over 100, so that is 103 over 100. My surd skills tell me that's 1 square root of 103 over the square root of 100, which is the square root of 103 over 10. Now, it was a show that, so I have added more steps than I might normally do. You must convince the marker that you got it using algebra and numerical skills and surd skills, not by sort of fudging it, shall we say. Okay, so I clearly showed what was required. Now, it says find the percentage error using the expansion. Now, to use the expansion, what it's asking me to do is put my x equals 100, or sorry, 1 over 100. Okay, oh, lost my mouse. Give my computer 30 seconds while it wakes up. And I'm going to put it this time into my 1 plus 3 over 2x minus 9 over 8x squared. So I put that one in a bracket. 27 over 16x cubed. Now, if I put that in my calculator, now this isn't a show that, and this would be the bit that I haven't worked out, so give me a second. 1 plus 3 over 2 lots of 0.01. It's slightly easier to put this in your calculator, actually, if you use 0.01 instead of the fraction, just because it's slightly quicker to type. Plus 27 over 16, 0.01 to the cubed. So that tells me on my calculator 1.014889. So I'm going to stick to that many decimal places. Check my rounding after that 9 was a 1, so I'm fine. So it wants to know the percentage error. So how different is 1.014889 from the square root of 103 over 10, which is what the exact answer is? So percentage error is predicted minus actual. Okay, so I want percentage error. Okay, so let's work out what the square root of 103 divided by 10 is. It's 1.014889. Oh, I'm going to have to go a bit further because actually if you type that into your calculator, let's just pop it up here for you as I don't have a calculator on screen. That is 1.014889,157. So I'm actually going to need a few more decimals, otherwise I'm not going to get a percentage error. So let's go back to that one and add on to the end of it 9188. So if I do my predicted 1.014889,188 divided by my actual, which is my root 103 over 10. Oh, sorry, minus my root 103 over 10, and divide it by the actual times by 100. Okay, so I'm going to take my answer. I'm going to minus the square root of 103 over 10. Okay. And I'm going to have to do this in decimal form because if I do it in exact form in my calculator, I actually get 0 out. So 1.01, so 1.014889,188 minus 1.014889,157 divided by 1.014889,157, and I times it by 100, I get the most ridiculously small percentage error question I think I've seen. I get 3.05 times 10 to the minus 6%. So as you can see, it's actually, it's actually pretty accurate. Okay, and that is a standard question, so it's worth sort of practicing. They'll give you an X, you pop it in and you see what it gives you. Now, if I wanted to say estimate now the square root of 103, if I took my answer, my 1.01488 and so on, and times it by 10, I'd have an estimate for a square root of 103. So it's quite a powerful little tool.